So at this point, I've gone ahead and made a few student submissions. And I actually made 2 revisions here. The first one that I collected, I didn't have my audio set up properly. So when I was recording it on the MacBook, you will notice a better video quality, but the audio is actually absent. The second time I submitted it, I decided to grab a Chromebook and use a student Chromebook to do the submission. And you'll see the video quality is not as bright, not as crisp, but it's decent, and the audio was pretty good. And that was not using any sort of attached microphone. It was just using the Chromebook. Notice that there's no way for me as a student to delete this assignment. I can add it to my portfolio, but I can't delete anything I've submitted to my teacher. In fact, teachers can't delete assignments. They're kind of built to keep a living history of the work done for a certain task. All I can do is resubmit assignments. So if a student asks me to do, or if a teacher would ask me to do a revision as a student, I could come here and resubmit. On the teacher side, you get notifications that students have submitted work. So I've submitted to test assignment, and I can click on test assignment to view those submissions, or I could go to the assignment just navigating through my course, and they take you to the same place. So this looks just like it did when we created it. There was really no text here because we made a quick assignment, but now I have submissions starting to populate. And notice the drop down here, I have some options. I could sort my list if it was longer by who still needs to be graded, who was on time, who was late, who hasn't submitted the assignment. So that gives you some really quick ways to navigate through the tasks students are doing. And in order to grade it, I just click on the name. Now, it always defaults to show me the most recent revision. So if I want to toggle back to revision number 1, I have to use the drop down. I can see the video here. And when students first submit videos, all you'll see is the link. And it took almost 30 minutes for the video itself to process and pop up here. The link is always available, and you can always download the file if you click on the link. But I just waited until this populated. And if you watch this video, this is the one that I don't have any audio for. So I'm sitting here and I'll start talking in a moment and there's nothing there. So an example of what I could do if a student submitted work that way is type a comment, and that would notify the student, hey, you had a mistake, I want you to resubmit. Revision number 2 was collected on a Chromebook. So I'm making the second video using a student's Chromebook. The first video I used using a MacBook. Right, and so you could watch the whole video and provide feedback to your students in 2 ways. You can put in a grade. You can add a comment to that grade. So you could write in some text and show that to the student. You could also add a comment over here in this kind of dialogue pane, including audio and video recordings. And I know most people don't like making videos of themselves, but an audio recording is a great way to give students feedback, especially if you're using the app on the phone, because it's more difficult to type in feedback when you're using a phone, but audio recordings happen really quickly. So it's something you can do to kind of dialogue back and forth. Now, as a teacher, I have several options to navigate the rest of my roster. If more people had submitted, when I click on my name, we would see quite a few options here, and I could click through the roster of submissions. Their pictures will populate at the bottom, or an arrow will be here where I could navigate. There'll be a second arrow kind of right here where it would allow me to scroll to the next student. So while I'm grading, I can just go student to student. If I'm grading on the phone, I can just swipe on the phone screen and it swipes to the next student in the roster. And so once I'm done adding my grades and comments, I can X out of that. And I see the student here has a grade. And now I can see that they're on time. And it should refresh to show now there's none that need grading and 1 was graded. So that will update as you refresh your screen. So think about this as an option and as a way to kind of interact with students in using technology that doesn't just require typing text. And I would love to help support you as you navigate all of these features, and especially as you dig into those feedback options. There's a lot of advanced things that we can do. So let me know how I can support you in this work.